Hi all, I want to talk to you about our basement worm farm. A little over a year ago, we got 250 worms and put them in a good old 5-gallon bucket. They had the normal beginner mistakes everybody I think makes when they start this is overfed, too much water, put too much heavy layer of shredded paper and they got kind of clumpy. So, but took us a while, but it worked out and was successful. Then decided that first time we harvested that we weren't going to get a lot, so we need to expand. And so I went to I like to build things. I had a little bit of leftover wood, and I laying around, and I built me a whole layer worm bin, some hardware cloth, and started out with 25 worms in this thing, and not much happened for the first 90 days. And about a day 100 it started blowing up, taking off. I think I harvested twice out of this and figured out pretty fast that I'm not going to get enough worm castings for next summer at this rate with the 5-gallon bucket and this little thing. So decided to buy a couple of the tubs. Got a couple of these. Expanded those. These are a lot easier to work. Got rid of the 5-gallon bucket. I think I got 2 of these and a couple of old plastic storage tubs we had laying around. So we had four containers going. And at the same time, I had an old entertainment center I built back in the 1980s. Needed to get rid of. So I tore it apart. And I was gonna throw it away anyway, and I made myself a CFT. It's pretty much 2 foot by 2.5 foot by almost 4 foot. I got no money into it whatsoever. This was totally stuff I had around. The underneath is conduit, electrical conduit I had from a garage rebuild project I did, and so slapped it together. So we've had this. I started this in October, and just did the first production harvest this weekend. I'd done a couple other harvests, but mostly was getting rid of the cardboard and some of the leaf bedding that I had underneath. Yeah, this weekend was the first one. It's doing really well. It's been real successful. It's probably getting close to maxed out on the worms. But it's been a fun challenge. Right now we've gotten, I don't know, I think it's 150 pounds of castings so far this winter. My goal is to maybe through the summer get over 500 pounds. We'll see if we can get there. But I'll probably fire up a couple more bins, those little bins. Maybe build another one of these. I've got some more leftover wood from that entertainment center. Slap another one of these together. But yeah, that's our 1 year of our basement worm farm. It's been real successful. Oh yeah, another thing I just forgot to mention, when we went to the CFT, we'd been feeding food scraps and stuff like that around the house. Everybody says, it's what you read on the internet, throw all your food scraps in there. But when we went to CFT, I just don't produce enough food scraps to feed this many worms. So got on good old Craigslist and found a person not too far from us that has horses and is giving away free horse manure. So we go out there and I pick up a trailer full of horse manure every couple of months, and we pile it and compost it, heat it up, see if we can try to get it at least above 140 degrees for 3 or 4 days before I ever give it to the worms. And then I never put more than an inch or inch and a half of it on top of the worm bed so it doesn't heat up. And then we local coffee shop. We go to local coffee shop and get old coffee grounds. So I mix that with the horse manure, and then we throw some food scraps in. And I sift the horse manure, so it's real. Everything's sifted before we feed it. It works real well. It's very clean, easy to do, not very messy. Don't have too many bugs at all. And I got plenty of food for the worms. You definitely, if you use horse manure, you definitely got to compost it, see if you can get it heated up. If they use any dewormers or anything on their horses, because I don't know, I'm getting it from somebody just has personal horses. I don't know if they're deworming or not. Yeah, so I like to get it heated up. That'll help kill some of that stuff, and I don't kill my worms. But yeah, there you go. That's the 1 year. I think 1 year last week of the operation, and went from the little 5-gallon bucket method to a little CFT. Well, since we started doing the feeding with the manure and coffee grounds and just our food waste, get a much more consistent casting. Really nice and dark. I really think the coffee grounds have a lot to do how dark this stuff is, but it's just really good looking stuff. Had a lot of success in the garden with it last year. The little we had, just had enough to, throw a little bit on some starter plants. We couldn't do them all. I couldn't spread it over the garden, and then we mostly used the rest of it for tea, and we sprayed everything down about every 3 or 4 weeks, maybe longer, 5 weeks. We were spraying worm tea on everything, and was totally impressed with the way the garden works out. So this will be our first year of really moving to almost all castings and organic fertilizing, compost, and we'll see how it goes. Well, thank you for watching.